Ben Johnson's big mistake became apparent throughout the playoffs. He's one of the brightest offensive minds in the NFL. That's why the Bears hired him. That's why they believe in him. But even the best minds make mistakes, and Johnson made one right away. And it's something that became painfully obvious as the playoffs unfolded. Now, let's start with what he said. During his introductory press conference, Johnson made two bold claims. First, he said the NFC North is the toughest division in football. That's debatable, but we'll get to that.
I wanted to stay in this division. I know this is the toughest division of football right now. There's 3 teams that made the playoffs this year.
The bigger issue is what he said next. Johnson stated that quarterback success is the most important factor in winning football games. More important than anything else, even more than turnovers. And that, my friends, is simply not true. Look, we all love great quarterback play. There's a reason Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen are always in the conversation. There's a reason teams fight to find their franchise guy. But winning in the NFL is about more than just the quarterback. And if there's one thing this year's playoffs proved, it's that turnovers still decide games. Let's look at the numbers. There have been 12 playoff games this postseason. The team that lost the turnover battle in those games, they have a record of 1-1-7. That's right. Lose the turnover battle and you're almost guaranteed to lose the game. The only exception? The Chiefs in the AFC Championship. And let's be real. Kansas City has been bending the rules of football reality for years. 4 of those playoff games had no turnovers, so we'll take those out of the equation. But check this out. Losing teams in the playoffs committed 25 turnovers. Winning teams, just 1. 1. That is not a coincidence. That is not a fluke. That is proof that protecting the football is the single biggest factor in winning games. Now, let's bring this back to the Bears. If you watched Chicago this past season, you know turnovers were a massive problem. The Bears had one of the worst turnover differentials in the league, and guess what? They didn't make the playoffs. Meanwhile, 12 of the 13 best teams in turnover differential made the playoffs. That's not an accident. That's a pattern. So when Ben Johnson says quarterback success is the biggest factor, he's missing the bigger picture. Of course, a great quarterback helps, but if your team turns the ball over, it doesn't matter how good your quarterback is. You're going to lose. Let's look at some more numbers. Of the top 16 quarterbacks in touchdown passes this season, 11 made the playoffs. That's good, right? But 5 didn't. Of the top 16 quarterbacks in passer rating, 11 made the playoffs, but 5 didn't. Of the quarterbacks who threw the most interceptions, half still made the playoffs. 8 did not. Now, compare that to turnover differential. Almost every team that protected the football made the postseason. See the difference? This is something the Bears need to fix immediately. They can't afford to be careless with the football. They can't afford to lose the turnover battle week after week. And as much as we all want to see better quarterback play, it won't mean a thing if the Bears don't clean up their turnovers. Ben Johnson needs to recognize this. Football is always evolving. Teams throw more now than ever before. Quarterbacks are more skilled than ever before. But one thing hasn't changed. If you don't protect the football, you're not going to win. Just ask the Detroit Lions. They had the NFC Championship in their hands. They were 1 game away from the Super Bowl, and what happened? 5 turnovers. 5. And just like that, the game was over. The city of Detroit was heartbroken. Johnson saw this happen firsthand. He was there. He coached that offense. And yet somehow he still walked into his first Bears press conference and said, quarterback play matters more than turnovers. It doesn't. It never has. It never will. Now, does this mean Johnson isn't the right guy for the job? Absolutely not. He's still a brilliant offensive mind. He still has the potential to change the Bears' future, but he has to learn from this. If he wants to bring Chicago back to the playoffs, he has to put a major focus on protecting the football. He has to teach this team how to take care of the ball, how to create takeaways, how to win the turnover battle. Because that's how you win in the NFL. So what does this mean for the Bears moving forward? First, they need a quarterback who can protect the football. Whether it's Justin Fields or someone else, turnovers can't be an issue anymore. Second, they need playmakers on defense who can force takeaways. The Bears' defense has to start winning possessions for the offense. Third, the offensive line needs to step up. Protecting the quarterback and giving him time to make smart decisions is just as critical as making big plays. Mistakes happen under pressure. A clean pocket means fewer forced throws, fewer sacks, and fewer fumbles. Fourth, the coaching staff needs to emphasize discipline. Penalties and sloppy execution lead to more mistakes. Teams that play disciplined, fundamentally sound football tend to protect the ball better. The Bears need to be one of those teams. Fifth, Johnson must recognize that winning in the NFL isn't about just one thing. It's about balancing strong quarterback play with elite ball security, a sound defense, and a winning culture. This is a big moment for Chicago. They have a young, talented roster, they have cap space, they have draft picks, they have an opportunity to build something special. But none of that will matter if they don't take care of the football. And that, Bears fans, is why Ben Johnson's mistake became so clear during the playoffs. The good news, there's time to fix it. But if Johnson doesn't adjust, if he sticks to his belief that quarterback play is everything, well, let's just say we could be in for a long season. Bears fans, let me know what you think in the comments. Is Johnson on the right track, or does he need to change his approach? What do you think is the biggest key to winning football games? Drop your thoughts below. And as always, hit that like button, subscribe for more Bears content, and let's hope Johnson figures this out before it's too late.